yet, but just in case anybody watches later, we are currently heading northbound on Interstate 25. Taking a detour now. I'm on my way to Moberly, Missouri. Taking a detour route up here to US 56 and 412 because I-40 in between Klein's Corner and Santa Rosa in New Mexico, here in New Mexico, got closed down earlier for a big accident. We're currently at the 390 mile marker. The accident at mile mark at exit 412. Yeah, exiting at 412, which will be US 56. And heading east from there. Definitely not the route I was planning to take, but you know, it's not too often I go this way, and there are actually times I have taken this route just to avoid the US 54 traffic, because sometimes, now, I see Miguel on here, my buddy there. Miguel, you know how much of an annoying pain in the ass the traffic on US 54 can be. My experience with 56, traffic is very sparse. Of course, there's a downfall. A good chunk of it is technically a 60 mile an hour speed limit, but a lot of the area, you're the only one on the road and you can see for miles, and well, let's just say I don't normally do 60 miles an hour through there. I don't think anybody's stupid enough to only do 60 through there. Of course, there are some downfalls though. There's a town over there, I can't remember the name of it, that has a oddly placed way station. It's kind of on the south end of town there, and if you're coming across 56, you kind of have to detour down to the south end of town to hit that way station if it's open, and then come back up. Then I also got another way station in Boise City. That's the one that I got ticketed for bypassing in that one video. If you guys haven't seen that before. Long story short, I was coming westbound on 56 into Boise City. That would be in Oklahoma, by the way, not in Idaho. And I got stopped by a cop and ticketed for bypassing the way station that's over there right by the Love's truck stop. He gets all mad, and you weren't driving so fast, whatever, blah, like, well, the speed limit was 55 and I was doing 50, and the speed limit dropped to 45. I was down to 45 by the time I hit that sign. Speed limit dropped to 35. I was down to 35 by the time I got that sign. So what the fuck was he talking about with my speed? I don't know. But then he's like talking about his green and white sign saying turn left. I'm like, but that was after the left turn pocket that I was supposed to use to get into the damn thing. And then I argued it in court. Well, I didn't go to court. I had a lawyer through my driver legal thing. I had my YouTube video I have here on my channel about bypass for, or cited for, or stopped, whatever, for bypassing the way station. Check that one out if you haven't seen it already. But in summary, yeah, I ended up arguing that that's not properly marked signage, because mandatory instructions are not supposed to be posted on green and white signs. Mandatory instructions are supposed to be on white signs with black writing, or on black signs with white writing. So, by that logic, green and white, this guy's saying that I should be stopping at literally every exit that I ever see, because hey, guess what? It's a green and white sign. I even mocked them by putting right in the Oklahoma driver handbook on sign colors, showing that green and white signs are informational signs. They're not mandatory. Yeah, you don't put mandatory information on green and white signs. So I went with that. And I mean, I knew the station was open, but I'd never been in the area before and had no idea what side of the road it was on, what lane I needed to be in, whatever, where to turn, and or, if it was just branching right off on the shoulder or something. Found out the hard way when these trucks came off of southbound US 287 in front of me and went over that way, that was where they were going. Anyway, yeah, I ended up fighting that one. The cop even tried to tell me that there wasn't any court to go. Paid for whatever, and that was like $150 bond for bypassing whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm fighting this. You can't be making me go into a way station on a green and white sign. And I did end up fighting it. And guess what? I won. Good morning, William, and my son Bradley, and Jim as well. I think there were some, I don't know, that's all who's messaged, but I see there were 7 watching, and there were 8 earlier. Guess I already got one person bored. Just kidding. I don't know. Alright, so if you're just tuning in right now, we're northbound on Interstate 25. Kind of in between Albuquerque and the Colorado line. I had stopped for a nap and a shower over here in Las Vegas, New Mexico, not Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's about a 65-mile trip from Las Vegas to Springer. I'm going to be picking up US 56 in Springer, and that is 14 miles away from my current location. Oh, damn, lost another one. What, I offend or something? Where you at now, Miguel? Bastard, you didn't answer my phone call yesterday. They even got those cars hauling cars here on I-25 too. I've heard people say they use all those cars that get hauled end up getting relocated to like Mexico or something, but I'm not always convinced. I'm not so convinced that that's the case, because there are number of times where I've seen them in other areas that were like, why would they be, if they were going to Mexico, why would they be on this stretch of this particular highway or whatever? Well, here on I-25 maybe. Yeah, because you can take 25 straight on down to Las Cruces and cross over into Mexico over there in Juarez, over there by El Paso. But it's not unusual for me to see them on eastbound Interstate 40 in between Kingman and Flagstaff also. If they were going to Mexico, and I would think, well, if you're in Kingman, why not take US 93 down from Kingman to Wickenburg and then 60 down to Phoenix? And then you can get on I-10 there in Phoenix, and that'll get you down by the border. So now I'm not buying that those are going to Mexico. Maybe some of them are, but I think they're doing some other kind of moving there with, I don't know, maybe. And sometimes a lot of these vehicles actually have like a lot of personal belonging looking kind of stuff in the beds of the tow vehicles, and even in the vehicle being towed as well. So something tells me it's just a cheaper way to move your personal vehicles and property from when you're moving from one location to another. Yeah, we're heading toward Raton, but we're not actually going to make it all the way up to Raton. So Raton, for those of you guys who don't know, William was talking about there, it's here in New Mexico, just before you get into Colorado. We're going to be turning off 11 miles from now, though. And I can't remember how many miles it is. I want to say it's like 490 or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't remember the last mile marker is here on I-25. I'm hardly ever on it. I have it recorded on a notepad app, but I forgot what I have written down. Yeah, there are also the Wikipedia page for Interstate 25 in New Mexico can also tell you that information. Alright, we will have to watch for stormy weather as we head east, because one of the tornado hatch potential areas today is actually along the path that I will be on 56. Not so heavily between where I-25 and like Dodge City, and I have just under 5 hours left on my clock to work with. It looked like there was actually storm activity out in the St. Louis area when I was looking a little bit earlier, but it looked mostly clear west of that region. But yeah, the tornado risk area is it starts to elevate just a hair east of my current location, and then it gets a little bit more elevated as you get a little bit further east. But we'll just keep watching for that. Speaking of, my son Bradley there, one who's Galaxy World Key Savage, he was just telling me on the phone before I started this stream that I guess he had tornado warnings at his place yesterday. Charlotte Lakes, 404. Picked this load up in Colton. It's a Walmart cross-dock load. I'm going to probably recap some of this stuff when I eventually do a Moberly delivery video. Which I'll be delivering at late tomorrow night. We're actually 2 in the morning on Tuesday. Tomorrow. So I'll be able to have a full 10-hour break-in before I even deliver the load and be in position to run some more miles right after that. But I know there's a chance I might end up having to sit just a little bit for a reload after I'm empty, because I know I had like 2 days in a row of 9+ hour recaps coming in, but then the next day after that was only like 145 or something like that. That's not going to be very helpful to me. But after the 145, I have pretty decent recaps, I think for at least 2 or 3 days. So. Alright, 6 miles to go. The day I picked up this load was pretty busy. Between doing a live stream delivery in Riverside in the morning, then I went and washed out my trailer and got reefer fuel for it, and then I went back to my house, did a full 10-hour break at my house, went back down to Colton to pick the load up at night, like around 2300 that same night. Got rolling with it. Now, it looks like I have a strong signal, so the altitude viewers tells me buffering for you guys, as far as I know. They got a strong 4G signal right now and a steady 2,500K per second throughput up on the upload speed right now. Should mean you guys should be having pretty, at least for a live stream, decent enough quality footage right now. More to go. Way to Riverside with that last load. I had stopped in Eloy, Arizona to get reefer fuel, and I think they even got me a bit of tractor fuel as well. Well, while I was over there, there was a fry miller driver a couple of lanes over from me who had rejected kielbasa and beef franks cases that he was trying to get rid of. Kind of smaller cases, but I went ahead and got like two cases of each from him. Yeah, put everything I could in my fridge and freezer here in the truck, and then the rest, I had like one case that just sat there in the sleeper area until I got it home, and then I stored it at home. And I gotta tell you, I've already had some of those kielbasas, and they're pretty good. So that fed me for both days while I was at home, and my wife didn't even know about it. So when she finally goes into the fridge and freezer or whatever I need to grab stuff that she needed or whatever, she all of a sudden sees this huge pile of kielbasas and beef franks in this freezer, and both the freezer and the fridge. It's definitely one of the nice perks about doing reefer freight. Sometimes you get rejected product, and in some cases they'll tell you to take it to a charitable organization or something, or take it to a different customer that will actually take it. And a lot of other cases, because it might be a damaged case or something. Some of them, like if it's a small quantity, they'll just tell you most of the time, just go ahead and discard or keep it. So yeah, in a lot of those cases, especially with Tyson loads for me, so I get a lot of Tyson loads that go into California, and it's not super uncommon at all for me to end up with damaged cases. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Tyson, it happens. But it's a nice perk when I live in California and I have rejected products in California. Because more often than not, I can just keep it in the reefer, keep it in the trailer for as long as I can, or put it in my fridge and freezer if there's room. Alright, we're going to make a right turn, head east right here on US 56. This isn't technically, I don't think this is technically 56 yet. We come up this road here, and just a mile away, we're going to make a right turn onto what is the true Highway 56. We're on to 4th Street, it says on my onboard system. But yeah, I know we're going to pick up US 56 up here, right here in town. It's a concurrency at 56 and 412. Welcome to Springer. free food in the past from rejected product that ends up making it to my house. Like I remember I had a couple times where I ended up with like at least good 200 pounds worth of chicken that ended up either in my freezer or in other people's near like neighbors and stuff's freezers as well. Alright, I did see another truck a second ago making a right turn onto video. Don't tell me you're gonna stay over there now. Are you just picking up trash or something, or what are you doing? You only moved a short distance before stopping again. I'm gonna stay over here. Yeah, I got plenty of shoulder space here on my side to work with to make this turn. Yeah, Tandems didn't have any problems at all making that corner there. It wasn't far away, but it was definitely no problem making the turn. Alright, 23 miles to our next turn. There are going to be some odd and end turns around here on this route on the way across. But now one of the downfalls with this route though is one, if I recall, it's like 60 mile an hour speed limit most of it. When you're not in towns, and then I can't remember if the lanes are full 12-foot wide lanes or if they're a little bit more narrow than that. Please do not. See, it's 60 zone right up here. And I think it's been a while since I've been through here, but yeah, I recall it stays 60 pretty much the entire time in between towns. Sit here and do 60. I'll do 65. Maybe even bump it up a little bit more once, but not all the way to 70. Once I'm in a more highly visible area where I can see much further around me. I also want to try to keep spacing between me and that truck that's up ahead. I'm hoping he's doing at least 65. Because I don't want to have any interaction with him and have him in my way if I don't need him to be in my way. So, if we're lucky, he'll be doing at least 65, and we can just kick it at 65 coming across. Checked if I-40 is open. Sometimes those closures for that. James Ewing's the one who told me about there being a mess that left, but it must have been pretty bad. And then also, I was on my way across I-40 in western New Mexico. Off the road, and it looked like it came to a rest right about on the railroad tracks. And there was actually a train right there, like a couple hundred feet away from where it was at, but it was at a dead stop. The train was actually just a hair past the signal that it was. I got it. Apparently, that guy on time to come to a full stop just soon enough to not hit it. Tell though. Windmill and a solar panel next to it. Interesting. I'm wondering if those, I guess both of those are the power coming off the solar into or well, either, I don't know, they're a little hippie. Damn, several four-wheelers here on the so. But then again, traffic won't be coming this far up around or whatever anyway. We're trip to a little over an hour drive from here to Clayton there. Or something catching up to me. Bump my speed up just a tad. .430, but good, but so I guess reason maybe around 250-ish miles is what I can do with what I have left. I don't know that that's enough to get me to Dodge City. I don't think it is, but I could be wrong. Figured I might stop in Boise City briefly or something, or I don't know, maybe not even stop in Boise City. I do want to get at least, I know for sure I want to get past Boise City. Because I'm currently 752 miles away from my customer. And ideally, I want to be able to get down to 580 or less. Should be able to do that just on this. Nice. Here looks like, and I know I'm going to have probably intermittent connection here a good chunk of the way. And I'm not super familiar with this route, so I like being able to have my map up in portrait mode, so I can have a better perspective view on where I'm at in relation to what. How about we do that? Yeah, it's only one watching right now. The throughput sucks. Oh, it's going, yeah, it's up a little bit now, but it's still low. I have a weak 4G signal, and I don't expect it to be a hell of a lot better a good chunk of the way. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and call this one a day for you guys, alright? Those of you guys who did get on here before I ended it, thanks for hanging out for at least a few. I'm just giving you a little update on what I'm up to, though. Using that to do the recorded material, and I do have something I will be talking about in that related to JCT and Hirschbach's field programs. Alright, so I'm going to call this one a day, right? Y'all have a great day. We'll see you guys in Moberly. Peace.